got fitted Japan. Yeah, I'm telling me on business. I'm all about my business, but I ain't got no briefcase. Yeah, all I got's some whiskey. Open now the whiskey, bring it to you. Yeah, I'm leaning up against the door, and my feet set to the floor, and we're messing on go. Yeah, I've been in before. Whoa, whoa. I'm a broken man, needing remedial lands. I'm all about my business. Let me love you till the morning. Let me love you till the morning, yeah.
What's up, faders? Welcome to yet another action-packed episode of Got Faded Japan, and I am your host, Johnny. And as you fine folks know, Got Faded Japan is about two dudes, booze, Japan, and the news. And faders, yes, this is episode number 766, and I gotta tell you something. At the very beginning of this episode, I gotta let you know, I gotta break down the 411 because, faders, I made a mistake. I messed up. Hey, I'm only human. Please forgive me. I just recorded this episode number 766. I recorded it live. I streamed it live. It was on YouTube live. And yeah, it is on YouTube still, but the audio and the video that I edit, it's gone. I don't think I saved it. On Zoom, I think I hit the wrong button or something. I can't find it anywhere. Yeah, so it is gone. So the episode that I just did, which is this episode with the same content, is on YouTube. It's streamed on YouTube, and I don't know how to strip it from YouTube to whatchamacallit, make an audio file of it. And I mean, I'm sure it might be that difficult to do. I guess I could do that, and I wonder if the quality would be good. Well, anyway, regardless, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the whole show over again for you. You're going to have two of the same episode. Now, I haven't done this since Tom was on the show a couple of years ago when we used to get way too drunk. And yeah, we basically would like record an episode, lose it, and then have to do the whole episode over again. And we did that several times, especially after like a lot of shochu or tequila or something. Oh God, whenever we drink beer and then switched over to hard liquor, oh, those shows, they were such a mess. Lots of fun to do though. I'm sure you guys enjoyed them, but oh my God, those shows were just nutty. So what I'm going to do right now, as I said, is I'm going to do the whole show over again with the same content. And I'm going to keep both up on YouTube. So you can watch part one and part two. And you judge which one you like better. Probably the second one. This one here is going to be better because I'm warmed up. I've already covered the content. I've already read the articles now. So there's no surprises or anything when it comes to the news. And anyway, without further ado, here is Got Fitted Japan, episode number 766 again. And yes, if you did watch that previous episode of, well, 766A, this will be 766B or whatever, I was drinking shochu. And I am drinking shochu. So I'm drinking shochu and coffee. I'm going back and forth a little bit. I'm just sipping this because I do have stuff I got to do today. It is, by the way, I'm streaming live on YouTube, and it is 2:45 p.m. Day fading. Faders, hi kampai. Yes. And just in case if you're wondering, what I am drinking right now is Dayame. Dayame is an emo shochu from West Japan, and this stuff is absolutely spectacular. This stuff is it's fruity. It's an emo shochu, and emo shochu is basically a shochu or a Japanese spirit that is made of sweet potatoes. And the sweet potatoes that they used in this for this brand, I guess, are very fruity or something because this stuff tastes very fruity. It is the most unique emo shochu on the market, in my opinion. And it only costs 1,400 yen, which is about $5 USA. But yeah, this stuff here, Daime, is brilliant. If you're in Japan, you're coming to Japan, or if you're at a Japanese restaurant somewhere in the world, I highly recommend that you get your hands on this stuff. This stuff right here is spectacular. It is the most beautiful shochu. Oh my goodness. And the bottle looks very classy too, right? If you had this on your shelf and somebody saw it, they're like, what is this? And you're like, it's Daime. Yeah, very, very, very cool. Very delicious. Highly recommend this stuff. Okay. So faders, I've got bad news and good news and great news. And the bad news I'm going to start off with is about one of our friends, a fader, a good brother of ours, Pee Wee, aka Lee Sullivan. He's been diagnosed with cancer. He's got a cancer that's right behind his eye, and it's really bad. And it's a really horrible situation, and it's very stressful for him and his family, and for all of us. Actually, it's just really bad. And all of our hearts and prayers go out to him, his family, is and everybody that he works with. Everybody. It's really a bad situation. It's hard for me to articulate because I mean I've known Pee Wee for well, like almost what, 15 years now. I mean, he was my boss when I was working at Gamuso. And yeah, Pee Wee, he's a staple of Tokyo, in my opinion. He's a treasure. Pee Wee, he's not only a good friend of ours and a longtime fellow fader, but he's been on Got Faded Japan several times. He's the owner of Gamuso. He's organized and set up events and parties for people all over the country here in Tokyo and stuff. I mean, he's done so much for the community here. Pee Wee is just a wonderful person, and this is a horrible situation. And so what me and my friend Tom Donnelly have done is we organized a charity fundraiser for Pee Wee to help Pee Wee pay his bills and to support him and his family during this most horrible time. And the fundraiser is at seventh floor in Shibuya. It's a nightclub that's in downtown Shibuya, and it's on February 1st. So if you're in Japan, please come down to seventh floor on February 1st and support Pee Wee. And at this fundraiser, we've got so many things that we're doing. We're going to have a magician. We're going to have professional dancers. We have 7 bands that'll be performing. We have a raffle. We're going to have an auction. It's going to be absolutely spectacular. It's going to be the best fundraiser, charity fundraiser that the world's ever seen. And it's for our boy Pee Wee. So yeah, please come down and support. And if you can't come down, I'm going to have a link to the event, and he's got a PayPal that you can donate money to. If you could donate a couple of bucks, that would mean the world to him. So thank you so much, guys. And any way you can support would be fantastic. Okay, so that's the bad news. Moving forward to good news is, well, I mean, anything's good news compared to that. That's just so bad. But yeah. Uh, right now it is January 10th, and this right here is peak Shininkai season. And yes, pretty much, yeah, I'm hungover. Hello, I'm hungover because last night I went to a Shininkai. Tonight I've got a Shininkai. Tomorrow I've got a Shininkai. So you're probably wondering what a Shininkai is. Well, a Shininkai is a welcoming of the new year party. So it's like basically we're friends, family members, neighbors, coworkers, old acquaintances, people get together and they have a party welcoming in the new year, 2025 in this case. And they have these parties at people's homes, at their offices, at izakayas, restaurants, wherever, in the park sometimes. And there's a lot of food that's eaten, a lot of booze that's drinking, and a lot of people that are having a lot of fun and stuff. It's great. It's an absolutely fantastic time. It's a gas, and they're pretty much like every single day of the week at this point. Every single day of the week. And in December, we don't have Shininkais. We have the opposite. We have Boninkais. And Boninkais are basically where friends and family get together and they say goodbye to the year. So Shininkai and Boninkai are pretty much the same thing, but one is the end of the year party and the other one is the beginning of the year party, I guess. So welcoming of the new year. And yeah, so pretty much we have so many Shininkais. Oh my gosh, I've had too many end of the year and welcoming of the new year parties. I think I can't take it. And they're great. They're great. There's so much good. There's pros and cons actually. I mean, got to get my bearings straight. Okay, there's pros and cons. The pros are you get to see a lot of old friends that you haven't seen in a long time. You get to catch up with family members. You know, it's a lot of fun. You know, it's great. There's a lot of food, a lot of alcohol. So it's great. It's like a celebration, right? Now, the con is they're expensive. Every time you go out, you're gonna miss your last train. There's no way you're gonna make your last train, right? Especially if you're a fader. You're gonna have to, so which means you're gonna have to take a taxi home, or you're gonna stay at a comic book cafe, manga kisa, or something, or basically, geez, stay up all night and party. Hey, So there's that thing. And it just winds up being very, very expensive. Very expensive, especially if you miss your last train. Whatever happens when you miss your last train, it's expensive. So so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. It's gonna be very expensive, but it's worth it. It's really worth it to hang out with old friends and stuff. So yes, that is Shinnekai. The pros and cons, quite black and white, quite simple. All right. Now, another thing that I want to discuss with you guys is something that I think is absolutely fantastic. It's something that most people don't do here in Japan, especially when visiting or people that have been living in Japan for a few years and stuff. It's something that you kind of have to stumble upon or be introduced to by a friend or something, whatever. And yeah, it's basically, without further ado, antique shows. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, antique shows, Johnny, that's for old people. That's boring. Antiques, nobody cares about antiques. I'm in Japan because I like anime. I like sushi. I like manga. I like J-pop. I like Shibuya. I like izakayas. I like sushi, 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 sushi. And yes, I agree because so do I. So do I. But hear me out. Antique shows are absolutely awesome. Antique shows are so incredibly cool because for me, antique shows are basically walking through the doors of history. Forget it. You don't need a DeLorean. You just need sneakers. And when you go to an antique show, it is so absolutely incredible because you can see samurai swords, aka katanas, from World War II that were used in World War II. You can see samurai swords, actual samurai swords from battles, from wars. You can see samurai swords that were used by shoguns. You know, you can see the ninja stars that killed people. You know, you can see kimonos, the most beautiful, most incredible kimonos you've ever seen with the most vibrant colors that are absolutely spectacular. Like kimonos and like all sorts of like geisha like accessories that belong in a museum. In fact, a lot of this stuff just belongs in a museum. I can't believe they're on display to be sold. It's absolutely ludicrous. You know, it's just some of this stuff is just absolutely unbelievable. And how did I get introduced to the world of antiques? Well, about two and a half, maybe 3 years ago, my wife and I were hanging out at home and we both had the same day off. It was a Friday. And my wife and I wanted something to do. So I was strolling around on the internet and I found like an antique show, like this huge antique show that was happening in Shinagawa. And I said, hey, let's go here. And my wife's like, I don't know about that. There's a typhoon that's coming. And I was like, hey, wait a second. If there's a typhoon that's coming, a lot of people aren't going to go to this show. So if we go, we're going to have the whole place to ourselves. My wife's like, I don't know. Let's just stay home and watch Netflix. And I was like, okay, listen, this looks pretty cool. You know, if we go, I'll take you onto any restaurant you want. And my wife's like, all right, cool. Done deal. Fair. Let's do it. So we went to this antique show and I was right. Nobody was there. This place was at this huge auditorium in Shinjuku where there's like, I think there's like 400 booths and these booths were massive. So most of them were massive. And in these booths, they sold anything and everything that was over 100 to 100, like 100 to like maybe 2, 3, 400 years old. I mean, everything there was like from old to really, really, really old. And it was absolutely fascinating. And there was nobody there. At every booth, the person that was working at the booth gave us like 110% of their attention. Like basically, they answered all our questions. They talked about every single item. They were so friendly and so nice. It was absolutely insane. It was so much fun, and it was such a good time. And even if you're not interested in antiques, if you think antiques are stupid or boring, you should just go to this place. Go to an antique show because for you, if you go there, you are going to find at least one thing that's awesome, you know? And I know, I agree. Before, back in the day, I was like, an antique show, pff, boring. No, they're not boring. Not boring at all. I highly recommend that you go. Oh my gosh. I mean, oh God, especially if you're interested in art. If you're interested in art at all, an antique show it's better than almost any museum or gallery I've been to. I mean, they're just incredible. Just the kimonos and the katanas, the swords, the samurai swords you see, they're just so detailed. The craftsmanship that goes into every single one of them is just absolutely spectacular. And they let you hold them. You're like, can I hold this samurai sword? And they're like, yeah, here you go. And you're holding this razor sharp samurai sword. But I mean, Granted, when I was there was nobody, there's like almost nobody there because of the typhoon, right? There's almost, I saw a few tourists that were there, but that was about it. I mean, it was pretty incredible. It was absolutely incredible. I highly recommend that you guys go there. And when I was at the antique show, I didn't have too much money. I wasn't thinking of buying anything. I was just thinking about just walking around and checking it out and stuff, right? So I was walking around and I saw like this one booth, and this one booth had all these pieces of metal, right? These like little circular disc. And I was looking at these circular discs. I'm like, man, these are really cool. What are these? And the guy's like, oh, they're called Tsuba. I'm like, what's a Tsuba? He's like, oh, it's Tsuba. It's like for a katana, for a samurai sword. It's the handguard. And I'm like, all these pieces of metal are authentic handguards. And the guy's like, yeah, 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 yeah. And they had so many of these handguards. And I don't know if you know this, but when the sword masters were making the katanas and the samurai swords and the daggers and stuff, they spent a lot of detail in every single part, especially the handguard. And the handguard was kind of like, it was like a symbol for the sword maker, but it's also something that he gave special to the person to the samurai or the ninja who is going to use this in battle, right? So most of them not most of them, many of them are very, very, very unique. Of course, when there's a major battle that was going to happen, they had to mass produce swords. They just made like the small circular ones that kind of look like is like an egg shape, or the ones that are like a square, right? But at this one that I went to, they had many, many, many just amazing ones. They had ones that had like pictures on them and gold writing and stuff, whatever. It was absolutely cool. And when I was there, one of them caught my eye. I saw this one with like this design that was absolutely very, very simple, but just very, very, very cool. And I was looking at it for the longest time, and the guy's like, "Okay, this one, if you like it, I'm going to sell it to you for $250, Niman Gosen yen." And I was like, "I don't have that much. I only have like Ichiman yen, you know." And then I didn't know that at the time, but at antique shows, you can actually haggle. So I was able to haggle with this guy. I mean, all I had was Ichiman yen. So basically, he went down to Ichiman yen, and I was like, "Are you serious? You're going to sell me this thing for Ichiman yen?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll definitely do that." And I felt kind of bad. I was like, "Oh my God, should I give you my coat or something? Or I mean, this is too cheap." And he's like, "Don't worry about it. Just enjoy it." And I was like, "Thank you so much." The guy was super awesome. And this is what I got right here. So for all you guys watching this on YouTube, here you go. You should be watching this on YouTube. So this right here is a tsuba, and the blade will go right in this part right here. See this design right here? So the blade went out through here like this, like that. And then they would have it like this, chop, chop, chop. And I asked the guy about the history of this handguard. And I'm like, "Do you know anything about like the guy that had this, or do you know the history of this?" He's like, "I have no idea, but I know one thing. It's at least over 150 years old." And I was like, "Really? Are you serious?" So this Tsuba, or like the Tsuba could have been in like a war, a battle. Who knows? Who knows? God, I hope it's not haunted. I mean, but then again, I'll be honest. If you are going to have a ghost, having a samurai ghost is probably the coolest ghost to have, right? I mean, seriously, it's better than those ghosts are like, "Ooh." If you get a samurai ghost running through your house with like samurai swords, like ghost samurai swords, hey, I'm down. I'm down. Thank you. But yeah, so this is the Tsuba that I bought, and it's absolutely fantastic. I'll hold it closer to the camera so you can see it. For all you guys that are listening to us, you should definitely check us out on YouTube, because this is one of the perks. Like that. So yeah, this is one of my prized possessions. I picked this out, and yeah, it means a lot to me. It's really cool. Another thing that they have at these very, very, very old antique shows are books. Books, very, 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 very old books, religious books, magazines, comic books, manga. They have so many different kinds of books. Some of these books are 50 years old. Some of these books are 500 years old. And they are absolutely insane. And actually, one thing, when my wife and I were there, they had this whole section of like the comics and magazines. And I was looking through some of the old comics from like, like, I don't know, the 1930s or something. And I thought that was kind of cool. And I stumbled upon this magazine, and I saw the magazine. I mean, it basically, I mean, you could see it a mile away. It was a big picture of Adolf Hitler. And I was like, holy shit, there's a picture of Hitler in this magazine. And it was dated from like 1930 something. And I was like, oh my God. And I went to my wife, I'm like, honey, what the hell does this say? And she goes, Hitler, it says Hitler's our friend. It's like, oh my God, this is so bad. Oh my God. And I was gonna take a photo of it as a joke and put it on whatchamacallit, on Instagram. But then I thought about it for a second. I was like, oh my God, I can't have a picture of Hitler on my phone. I can't post anything about Hitler on any kind of SNS. That will come back and haunt me. No, it's bad. It's too dark. It's too dark. So I didn't take a photo of that, but I swear to God, I saw it with my own two eyes. It was pretty fucked up. And yeah, but something quite opposite that I saw that was really cool was very, 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 very old comics. And I found this one place in the antique show. It was like this area that had all these boxes of all these old books and comics and stuff, right? And this guy, he just seemed like he didn't care. He's like, oh yeah, I'm selling these comics, whatever you want. Just need to look through them or whatever. And I'm looking through all these old comics. I'm like, these are just absolutely amazing. And they're all just stacked on top of each other and they're all kind of bent up and stuff. And like, it's just like, I mean, they're super old. And I was like, oh my God, how old are these comics? He's like 100, 200 years old. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, the guy, he just didn't, he had something else on his mind or something, right? So he wasn't really helpful, but still he was helpful enough because I was looking through them and I found a couple that I really liked. And he sold me these comics for an incredible price after I haggled a little bit, but he sold me these comics. I got two comics for a very, very, very incredible price. So for all you guys on YouTube, I'm going to show you these very, very old comics. And I don't ever take these out of the bag or out of like my little storage place because they're so incredibly old and precious. Oh my goodness. And they're just so beautiful. So for all you guys watching us on YouTube, here you go. Merry Christmas. This right here is one of the comics that I bought. And this comic here, I think it's got to be at least 150 years old. And this comic is absolutely incredible. Now, the paper is almost like tissue paper. I mean, it is so soft. It is so soft. It's incredibly soft. It's unbelievably delicate. And it's really cool because on the cover, you get an image of a geisha wearing all this kimono with all these different designs of dragons and stuff, which is incredibly beautiful. I mean, just the artwork alone is just priceless in my opinion. And another cool thing about this comic is they didn't use staples or anything back in the day or glue. They used string. So it's bound by string. So if you look right here, this is how they did it back in the day. Isn't that cool? So right here is the comic. And I'm going to open it up and show you guys some of the pictures inside. Very carefully. Oh, I don't want to hurt it. I really don't. But I'll do it for you guys. So if you look closely, this right here is an image from the comic. And that's how they did comics back in the day. That's the design. They'd have a picture that they would draw out, and then they'd have the story written around it. And this paper, you can see it's all beaten up and really kind of it's got some water damage on it, and it's really dirty. It's like one of the reasons why I don't mind holding it that much. I mean, if it was like brand in like mint condition, there's no way I would touch it. But since it's already been through, I guess, what, 2 world wars and who knows like how many samurai battles, I guess it's okay. But this is beautiful. Look at the artwork. Isn't that artwork incredible? And another thing about this comic, like the kanji is obsolete. So I was asking the guy to tell me a little bit about the story, and he couldn't tell me about the story. He's like, I can't read this. I'm like, what do you mean you can't read it? He goes, dude, we don't use that kanji anymore. Nobody can read that. And I'm like, there's got to be somebody that can read that. I mean, come on. But yeah, I tried to have my wife read this. Here's another picture. So here's a picture full of a bunch of geisha that looks like they're being seduced by music or something. I don't know. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take photos of every single page and then post this somewhere. Maybe somebody can read it, but at least like the world can enjoy it, because I think this right here is just a priceless piece of artwork. I'm kicking myself right now. I'm really kicking myself because the thing is, the guy had boxes of these. The guy just didn't care. I don't know. And I should have bought all of them. But God, these this just it's just so incredible. Here's like another page right here. Isn't that artwork just so brilliant? You know? And I love how the text just kind of like saturates the image, you know, but in a very clever and classy way. It's really, really cool. And the details, the little details in every single image is just absolutely unbelievable. And this paper is basically tissue paper. It is so delicate. So, so very delicate. I really should not be touching this at all. Here's another one. Here's another page. I'm just going to pull this up right here. And then I'm going to put this one away. But isn't that crazy? I really wish I could read this. My kanji skills. Oh God, I know like 80 kanjis. I know 80 kanjis, which means I can read a menu. But yeah, this is incredible. This is absolutely beautiful. And this is one of the things you can pick up if you go to a antique show here in Japan. And I'm just gonna very quickly show you the next one. Oh boy, careful, careful, careful. This one's a little bit more beaten up. I like the cover of this one right here. This is really cool. Isn't that awesome? You know, and since it's beaten up like this, I think it kind of adds to the character. I think that's one of the reasons why I like it. I like old things, but I like old things that are kind of not in good shape. Like if I ever did buy a samurai sword, I mean, I never will, but if I did buy a samurai sword, I would buy one that's really old, one that's been used, one that's got chips in it, one that's got character. That's what I would do. But look at this. Look at this character. Look at this design. Isn't that awesome? This comic book is like 150 years old. Okay, I'm going to open this. I guess I should call it manga. I don't know. Did they call comics manga over 100 years ago? Oh my God. 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 Oh, ho, 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 ho. It's tissue paper at this point. I'm gonna hold this like this for you guys. Isn't that spectacular? Look at that artwork. So the next time you come to Japan, or if you're in Japan, you see a comic, you know, you see like One Piece or Go-Go 13, Lupin Sansei or whatever, you know, this is where it all started right here. This is where comic books started in Japan. They started just like this. Isn't that awesome? Oh my God. God, I love it. I love it so much. Oh my, I really wish I could tell the story. Oh, here we go. All right, so this is obviously a bad guy that's tearing apart a family or something. I don't know what's going on here. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Look at that artwork. That's unbelievable. All right, I'm going to put these guys away. I'm going to put them away before something bad happens. Ooh. All right. So yes, one of my recommendations for anybody that's in Japan who is planning on coming to Japan is to go to an antique show. Okay, there are so many antique shows in Japan, right? And I'm going to tell you about three major ones, right? There's small ones. Every weekend, there's a small one happening somewhere, but these are the three major ones that are happening. And some of these are like very, very old, right? They've been going on for years and years and years and years. The first one is, oh, wrong paper. Okay, yeah. The first one is the Oedo Antique Market. This is a very old antique show. It's been going on for like, I think like 40 years or so. And yeah, it's in the Shinjuku area. It's pretty massive. The second one is at Tokyo Big Sight. And this one is the Antique Grande. The Antique Grande. If it's called the Antique Grande, it means it is big. You should definitely go to the Antique Grande. And the final one is the Ariake Antique World. The Ariake Antique World, which is also a fantastic antique show. I highly recommend that you go to one. Check it out. You know, check out the samurai swords. Check out the geishas. The geisha, I guess, what would it be? Gosh, I need my sisters or my wife. The stuff that they put in their hair. They got all these things that they put in their hair. I forget the name of them and stuff. I guess accessories. Let's call them accessories. Hair accessories. They got the kimonos. They got, you know, there's so many stuff. So the throwing stars. Just go there for the artwork. Go there for the comics, the books. There's so much to see, so much to experience. And if you want to buy something, you can definitely haggle. Okay, but be respectful if you do haggle. You know, don't be a dick. You know, so. I absolutely highly recommend that you go there. And another thing about the antique shows are there's so many antique shows and they're always changing. There's always new stuff. So if you go to one year and you come back, or maybe you decide to go to it the following year, you're going to see like maybe the same people with all new stuff or all new people with new stuff. And one of the reasons why there's so many antiques and so many people that are selling antiques in Japan is because the population in Japan has shifted. Back in the day, there's more young people than old people, right? Especially after World War II, of course. But now that's shifted to there's fewer young people compared to the old people, the older population. And the older population in Japan is kind of fading away a little bit. And when they fade away, their kids, if they have kids, don't want to deal with mom and dad or grandma's like house and all the stuff she has in her house. So they either just sell it all or they just abandon it. And so all over the country, there's all these houses that have all these antiques in it because like old people have antiques. They have stuff that's been passed down to them or stuff that they bought when they're younger or whatnot. And yeah, there's so many of these houses and so many people that are just actually going to house and buying up old houses and selling off all the antiques and the land and stuff, right? In fact, I think the antiques may be worth more than the land, especially if you go in the deep countryside. But that's why Japan has so many antiques and so many antique shows, you know? And I think there's going to be more and more and more, especially as time goes on and stuff. And yeah, which is actually kind of sad if you think about it. But I guess it's good if you're interested in antiques because there's so many antique shows. I can't stress this enough. Please go to an antique show and check it out and stuff. You're gonna be blown away. I was a skeptic. I was like, yeah, let's go to an antique show. Yeah, it'd be kind of fun for a Friday. And now I'm like, dude, let's go to an antique show. Let's check out some samurai swords. I want to buy some comics. They got so many comics. Forget about One Piece. Forget about Akira. Let's get the original ones, man. The artwork is even better because it's original. It's so awesome, man. I highly recommend it. All right. And yeah, that's it. That's it for antique shows. All right. So what I'm going to do now, feeders, is we're going to take a little break for all you guys listening to us on the podcast. And yeah. And enjoy your sponsors. And when we come back, we're going to start off with this week's crazy, wild, and bizarre news. All right. Yo, what's up, faders? Got Faded Japan has got a new sponsor. Our new sponsor is Gamuso Bar, located in Asagaya, Tokyo. If you're kicking it in Tokyo and you want to get your groove on, get your fade on, you better get your ass down to Gamuso. Gamuso is located in Asagaya. It's about 11 minutes from Shinjuku Station on the Chuo line. Gamuso has weekly bands, weekly performances. And hell, if you got your own event and you want to hold it at Gamuso, we'd love to host you. So contact Gamuso at www.gamuso.com. That's www.gamuso.com. That's right. Gamuso has not only beers in the bottle, but beers on tap. We've got every drink you want. So come on down to Gamuso. Gamuso. And if I'm working, tip me. Have your attention, please. Attention. Hey, yo, what's up, Vaders? Johnny here. You know I love booze and news, but I also love art. So come on down to thespiltinc.com and check my art out. I've got tons of stuff there for you to check out. I've got paintings, I got prints, I got videos. And I tell you what, if you like a painting, I could probably sell it to you. And I tell you what, if I can't sell you that painting, I will definitely sell you a print. I've got prints of all my work. Prints are about 2,000 yen each, about $20. But if you buy two, you get the third one for free. So come on down to thespiltinc.com. Yo, and on top of that, I'm looking for commissioned work. So if there's something that you want me to do, I can make it for you. Just check out my stuff and see if you like my style. And if you like my style, I can definitely paint you anything on canvas, paper, whatever. I've done it all. So come on down to thespiltinc.com. That is THESPILTINK.com. Thespiltinc.com. Proper. Mitsuya Liquors. Yo, what's up, faders? If you're in Asia, if you're in Japan, if you're in Tokyo, if you're in Asagaya, you better get down to Mitsuya Liquors. That's right. For the most affordable prices in Japan, you can get over 300 different kinds of beer. That's right, over 300 different kinds of beer. And of course, they got all the shochu you need, all the sake you need, and of course, they got wine from California to Italy to France to New Zealand. They got it all. When I say they got it all, they really, seriously got it all. There's no joke about that. So get down to Mitsuya Liquors. And if you go in there and you say Got Faded Japan, you will be more than welcome to go into their back room and drink those beers that you just purchased. That's right, Got Faded Japan at Mitsuya Liquors. And 3 times a week, they have a sushi chef there. So get your sushi on, get your drink on, get your fade on, and come on down to Mitsuya Liquors, located comfortably in Asagaya, about 5-minute walk from the station.
In Tokyo and craving soul food? We've got just the place for you. Soul Food House in Azabu Juban. Check out what we do at soulfoodhouse.com. Come by and taste the love. We look forward to feeding you.
Are you in Harajuku with some out-of-town friends or your family or significant others? Yeah! Do you want to chill and drink beer and eat sandwiches while your friends overpay for glitter unicorn socks?
Yeah! And the flavor's gonna make you complete at Harry's Sandwich Company.
So come on down to Harry's Sandwich Company in the heart of Harajuku, right off Takeshita Street. See you there!
And we are back. For all you people that were watching this streaming live, I never left. But for all you guys that are listening to us on Podbean or iTunes or Spotify, thank you very much. And thank you very much for supporting our sponsors. Oh, Shochu, I love you, Shochu. And once again, I am drinking Daime Shochu. This Shochu is the Shochu of legends. This stuff is the jam. Hi, Kampai, faders. Hi, Kampai. Smells good. And it tastes even better. Mwah. 2 thumbs up. Okay, I'm going to read this news again because I read it when I messed up the first time I did this episode. Okay, here we go. First story. 87-year-old woman jumps from second floor of home after being tied up by an intruder. This story takes place in Chiba. Here we go. An 87-year-old woman jumped from a second floor of her home after she was tied up by an intruder looking for money in Kamogawa, Chiba Prefecture on Thursday morning. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? An 87-year-old woman jumped from a second-story building to escape an intruder. My God. Now, if that's not ninja skills, I don't know what is. According to police, the woman told them she was awakened just after midnight by a man who broke into her house and demanded money, NTV reported. He threatened her, then tied her hands and legs with a rope and began searching the house. The woman managed to free herself and jumped from the second floor and went to the neighbor's house, and then the neighbor called 110, aka 911. By the time police arrived, the intruder had fled. The woman injured her leg, or lady, during the escape, but was treated at a hospital. Police said the man entered the house by breaking a window on the first floor. Okay. All right. First things first. For all you old people out there, anybody over the age of 1, put your money in a bank. Don't have anything in your house of value except for your computer, your TV, and I guess comics, if you got comics. Your comics are worth money. But don't have anything in your house don't have money in your house. I mean, nobody even has money in their house. Everybody uses a credit card. And even in Japan, old people still use cash. A lot of people still use cash, but I try to use credit card as much as possible. For me, I love using my credit card because I get miles. I get points for miles and stuff. Don't have money in your house. And another thing is dogs. Have a dog. You know what? I'm a cat guy. I love cats. But once I get a little bit older where I can't defend myself as much, if I'm 90 years old, I'm going to get a pit bull, man. I'm going to get a big ass pit bull. So if anybody comes into my house, I'm going to be like, stick them. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a big dog. So for all you older people, all you older faders out there, get a dog. And I got to say, hats off to this lady. This lady, she's 87 years old, and she jumped. I bet she's got some ninja in her. She probably did a backflip, landed on her feet, and then walked away. And as she walked away, she probably tripped, and then that's how she hurt her leg. This lady is badass. And I bet she was this close from kicking this guy's ass. This close. She's like, all right, mother. I'm just going to call the police. It's late. That's probably what happened. So I give this lady mad respect, and I hope this guy gets busted ASAP. Moving forward, story number 2. Man arrested for kicking police car outside Koban in Mie Prefecture. Okay, listen. If you want to go to jail, like if you intend on going to jail, let's say you're just like, I want to go to jail. I want to try it out. Maybe jail's for me. Kick a police car. They will definitely arrest you. You'll definitely go to jail. You don't get $200 for passing go too. You just go straight to jail. Okay, here we go. Police in Sumiya Prefecture have arrested a 42-year-old man after he kicked a police car, damaging its doors at the Koban, aka police box or little police office. The incident occurred at around 7:30 p.m. on Saturday, TVS reported. Police said Kazunori Mashima, a dentist, was drunk at the time. Now, it's 7:30 p.m. and you might think that that's kind of early to be drunk, but as I said at the beginning of this episode, every single day of the week, we're having Shininkais, the welcoming of the New Year parties. So this guy's a dentist. He probably was hanging out with his buddies, his dentist buddies, nitrosing it up, drinking Shochu, having a good old time. And he got wasted. 7:30 p.m. He's decided to go home. He's walking home and he's a dentist. And what does he see? He sees black and white. Black and white. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but dentists, they see black and white all the time. But for them, black and white isn't like black and white, for us. When a dentist sees black and white, in his mind, he's thinking teeth and tar. Teeth and tar. He sees teeth and tar on wheels. And he's like, son of a bitch, I'm going to get you. So he runs up to that police car and he's like, fuck you, tar. And the cops come up and they're like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm doing you a favor. And don't forget to brush. And speaking of brushing, this guy's going to be brushing and flossing behind bars for a long time. Cops don't like it when you kick the ride. Okay, moving forward, number 3. Man arrested after hitting male acquaintance with a bottle at a bar in Nagasaki. Okay, more Shininkai madness. Police in Nagasaki have arrested a 40-year-old man in suspicion of assault after he hit a 33-year-old acquaintance on the head with a bottle at a bar. At least it wasn't what's worse, a chair or a bottle? They're both pretty bad. According to police, the incident occurred at around 1:50 a.m. on Saturday, TBS reported. Police said the suspect, who runs a human resources dispatch business, hit his drinking companion with a bottle that was on the bar, injuring his head. So this guy works for human resources at a company. Does that mean he has to fire himself? You're fired. Oh, man. And no benefits. Really? Yeah. Why? Because you're fired. Damn. That's so stupid. Police were called to the bar and the injured man was taken to the hospital, but his life is not in danger, police said. Okay, so basically one guy got in a fight with his drinking companion and bashed him in the head. It happens. It happens all over the world. Next story, man arrested for writing graffiti inside toilet at Imperial Palace during New Year greeting event. Okay, don't write graffiti anywhere at religious places or governmental places or anything that has anything to do with emperors or kings, okay? Graffiti's cool. Everybody loves graffiti. Graffiti is very popular these days, but don't do it in those 4 places if you're going to do it. I mean, if you're in Mexico, America, China, Japan, Russia, France, Germany, wherever you are in the world, if you're in the North Pole or in Antarctica, do not do any kind of graffiti at a religious place or something that has this kind of significance because, dude, it is pretty messed up, man. It's not cool. It's not cool at all, especially anything religious. If you put graffiti anywhere, do graffiti at any religious thing like a shrine or a church or a temple or something like that, dude, your karma is so messed up, dude. Your karma is done. Sayonara karma, bye-bye, dude. I mean, it's worse than anything, dude. Oh my gosh, you're screwed. You're completely screwed. Oh man. Let's move forward. Police have arrested a 46-year-old man for writing graffiti inside a toilet on the grounds of the Imperial Palace prior to the New Year greeting event by the Imperial family. The Imperial family, yeah. Kobayashi Daisuke, a landscape gardener from Zama City, Kanagawa Prefecture, was arrested on suspicion of property damage after being caught writing graffiti at around 10:30 a.m. on Thursday, TV Asahi reported. At the time, members of the public were lining up to enter the Imperial Palace for the first appearance by the Imperial family. The toilet is near the Hasuike Assembly Hall, which is on the route to visitors to take to exit the venue. Is that the way that it's written so weird? According to police, graffiti was also found on a nearby manhole cover. God, this guy doesn't know when to quit, huh? Should have stuck around for that, or just stayed by the manhole. Anyway, yeah. So, like I said, graffiti, yeah, religious places, imperial places. I wouldn't do it. Okay, moving forward to our last story. Man arrested for threatening teenage daughter with Rambo knife. The story takes place in Hokkaido. Police in Motoran, Hokkaido, have arrested a 49-year-old man in suspicion of threatening to kill his teenage daughter with a Rambo knife at their house on Tuesday night. The man is suspected of pointing a knife at his daughter and threatening her at around 7 p.m. on Tuesday, NTV reported. Clean your room, wash the dishes, do your homework. His dad's a dick. Oh my God. I think all parents have threatened to kill their kids, right? All parents from the beginning of time have threatened to kill their kids, right? It's just something that parents do. You know, kids, especially teenagers, they push the parents past a line. You know, the parent sees red. The parents, they say things that they don't mean. You know, you were in an accident. I should have pulled out. I love your sister more than I love you. Oh my God. Parents say the worst things sometimes, you know, and that's just what happens, you know, and having kids isn't easy, you know, and teenagers, oh God, teenagers, they could be a handful, right? But there's one thing you don't do. All right. One thing you don't do is you don't pick up any weapons. You know, you don't pick up Rambo knives. You don't pick up any kind of assault weapons. You don't pick even boxing gloves. Don't even put on boxing gloves. All right. Stay away from that stuff. Just use your words. Use your words and you'll be fine. All right. And yeah. So moving forward with the story, the daughter was not hurt, but called the police herself after the incident. Police said the girl told them that after a heated argument, the father grabbed a knife from the kitchen and pointed it at her, yelling, quote, "We have no choice but to die together," end quote. Okay, this dad's a dick. We have no choice but to die together. Oh my God. Thank God this teenager called the cops. Jeez, I would call the cops at that point. You know, if my parents ever pointed like a knife at me, I would just laugh. I'm like, ha, 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 you ain't gonna do nothing, right? But if they say something like this, then you're like, wait a second. Things just got a little too dark for me. I'm going to slowly walk until I reach the front door, open it. I'm going to shut the door behind me and then just run. Okay. The man was said to have been drinking at the time of the incident. Yeah, no shit. Oh, man. Oh my God, I want to hear about your worst family story. If you got kids, oh God. Actually, no, I don't. I don't want to hear anything. Don't tell me anything. Don't send me any emails. Don't incriminate yourself. But yeah, this is pretty bad. Christmas next year is going to be so messed up. Hey, Dad, remember last year, you know, right after Christmas when you threatened to kill both of us in a murder-suicide plot, you know, because I didn't do my homework? That was funny, right? Here, pass the steak knife. No, don't. All right, faders. I want to say thank you very much for watching this very awesome episode. Oh my goodness, it's the second episode of 2025, and I'm so happy to be here with you guys. Like I said, this is the second time that I did this same episode because the first one was lost. I fucked up. I'm sorry. So yeah. So hopefully, if you did watch the first one on YouTube, hopefully the second one is better. I hope. Who knows? The first one's probably more spontaneous. So, yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching us. Thank you so much for listening to us on Podbean and iTunes and Spotify and wherever else you get your local podcasts and stuff. And yeah, please support Pee-wee. Please go to 7th floor in Shibuya on February 1st and go to his fundraiser and help him and his family. Hopefully I will be there. If I'm not there, I'm going to be helping Pee-wee by helping him at his club. I'm definitely supporting him on that day, of course. And yeah, and I also want to thank Tom Donnelly. I'm not sure if I mentioned it at the beginning of this episode, but me and my really good friend Tom's also an organizer here in Japan. And yeah, him and we teamed up to organize this fundraising charity event for Pee-wee. So yeah, Tom Donnelly, if you're listening, thank you, brother, for doing this, man. You did a lot of hard work and stuff organizing this event, and I couldn't have done it without you. So thank you so much. And yeah, and if you can't come, yeah, there's a little link at the bottom or actually, if you go to like the show notes, there'll be a link there to Pee-wee's PayPal or something. So you can definitely support him there if you want. Thank you so much, faders. And yeah, make sure you definitely go to an antique show if you're in Japan or if you're coming to Japan. It's well worth it. And who knows, maybe you'll see me there. All right. On that note, faders, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
My own brother, a goddamn shit-sucking vampire. Will you wait till Mom finds out, buddy?
I've got a government job to abuse and a lonely wife to fuck. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
God, the pressure! I can't take it! I can't take it! I can't get to it!
You sure excuse me?
We're going freaking! We came, we saw, we kicked his ass!
Your move, creep.
Oh, man. I will never forgive your ass for this shit. This is some fucked up repugnant shit.
Ah, fuck it, dude. Let's go bold.